I need to get something out of my chest. I absolutely love networking. I find that when the networking is going on, I'm always very excited. When I stand in the crowd of the hotel ballroom, bringing out business cards, clutching a cup of apple juice, I find it quite interesting. Of course, that's a lie. For most of us, networking feels awkward, shallow, and sometimes downright painful. In Yoruba, the language spoken by the tribe I'm from in Nigeria, we don't have a word for networking. The word that sounds like network or connection is ìbáṣepọ̀. A word that speaks more to relationship than strategy. And for most people, networking doesn't feel warm, especially for immigrants. And you know what? Connection is very important, and opportunities often hide behind access, systems, and codes we were never taught. Over a decade ago, I was working as a family physician in Nigeria. I had all the degrees, the certificates, the training, the experiences. And I thought that was all everyone needed to get through in life. Plot twist, it wasn't. I had applied for various scholarships to have my master's done in the UK, in Australia, and I put in all my heart into those applications. But rejection came after rejection like a stop clock. But something happened one day. A friend was living in Canada, called me. She said, "Wumi, do you know that there's a growing demand for immigrant family physicians in Canada?" Oh, I gave her a whole list of reasons why this wasn't for me. I don't want to do residency all over again. I'm already turning gray. And the cold, I can't deal with the colds. And she wouldn't give up. She said, "Oh, the code is just like the one in UK, but now I know better." She said, "You don't have to do residency again. You just have to pass some exams." And then she did what game-changing friends do. She sent website links, resources for me to start preparing for my exams, and also books too. And then I connected with one of my mentors, who connected me with a colleague that had already made the move. The colleague connected me with another person, who connected with two other people, and boom, we started a discussion group. So when I finally made the move, my medical degree did not come with a GPS. I knew how to treat patients, but no one taught me how to pass my licensing exams, get an apartment, or decode the Canadian healthcare system. It was people that surrounded me. But don't get me wrong, I believe in hard work. I studied hard to become a doctor by the grace of God. Sleepless nights, endless exams, and also things I had to memorize that I believed I would never use. And so, here's what we're here for today. When we talk about networking, it's about bridges. The bridges we cross, the bridges we inherit, and the bridges we build. Let's take the first bridge, the bridges we cross. My mother was a nurse in Nigeria, and way back before I knew what networking was, I saw it lived out in her life. A single parent, working long shifts to make ends meet. And the tiredness she wore wasn't just on her face, it lived in her bones. But one moment changed things for her. It was a burial of her friend's father. During the burial, a close friend of hers, who was also attending the burial from the United Kingdom, moved close to her and touched her shoulder and said, "Don't you think that you might have better opportunity in the UK?" My mother paused and said, "Did you find a job for me and I refused to come?" That sparked something in her friend. The moment she got back, she started dropping hand delivery. That back then was hand delivery job applications to clinics, to care homes, and any door that might be opened. And finally, she got a job offer. By the time she knew it, she was boarding the plane to the UK. She left behind survivor and moved into the new phase. That didn't just change the pathway for her, but it routed the journey, the story of my family. And whenever we cross the bridge, I see myself on the other side needing someone to help me. And that's what takes me to the second bridge, the bridge we inherit. And this starts from a Canadian journey. My friend, that phone call, my mentor, the colleague that connected me with someone, the discussion group, these bridges, this particular bridge that someone had built, I inherited, were also created pathways for me to settle into the system and continue to practice my career as a family physician. And now I can say that it is very important for us as individuals to think about these connections, not just about what happens around us, but about how we can support others too. And now this takes us to the next bridge, the bridges we build. Whenever we cross a bridge that is built by someone, we don't just cross it, right? We also think of other people that in that position we used to be in. And by the grace of God, I've supported a lot of people, mentored them in their journey as international medical graduates to settling into the program of doing their licensing exams and practicing as physicians in different provinces of Canada. And if something happened recently, just this August, during the Canadian Association of Nigerian Physicians and Dentists conference here in Edmonton. It was nice meeting up with different people. In the hustle of reunion and conversations, my mentees came looking for me. I was filled with joy. And it was really nice seeing them 3-dimension and not over Zoom, right? And they told me about how my encouragement gave them that courage to sit and write for their licensing exams. But the words of Dr. O wrapped warmly in my heart. She said because of what I did for her, she feels an obligation to do for others too. And when I heard that, I realized that the bridge I had built had sprouted branches, reaching places I may never go and touching people I may never see. And that's also to tell us that bridges are about human infrastructure. They build those connections that we need to survive. And why are we talking about bridges today and not ladders? Ladders are about climbing alone, but bridges are about crossing together. Holding each other's hands to support one another. And research backs it up. the 85-year-old Harvard study tells us that good relationships make us happier and healthier. Mark Granovetter's groundbreaking study tells us that great opportunities often come from places, connections that we never expect. And here's the thing, we need to continue to support ourselves. So, my word for you now is not just to reflect on who has helped you, but to think, who needs your hand now? Whose journey could change because you decide to show up? Because if we all commit to being bridges, building communities and not just connections, no one will stay stranded by the shoreline. And that is an idea worth spreading. Thank you.